Hello. I just wanted to make a second post video yesterday about yesterday's rally protest we had in Rochester, New York for less is more. It was a great get together. It was awesome. It was a great protest. Very, I think, pretty peaceful, which is awesome. I mean, it's one of our core values in this country is to be able to peacefully protest when we disagree with something. So I got a lot out of the rally in action. The Public Employee Federation was out making their speech, and in my opinion, spreading around disinformation, and trying to prevent the less is more from coming out. Now, a lot of you already know that this bill was signed in September of 21, signed by Kathy Hope. I keep dropping my phone. And ever since, PEF has been doing these press conferences to scare people and to mislead them. They want to make you think that it's the nonprofits that are at fault. And really, we needed to change the system for a long time. Parole's been out for, 50 years? They've had the same practices since day one. It hasn't been effective. Not many people are successful. And this new system is going to make that happen. And they don't want to give it a try. And they, like I said, they came up there and were saying that people don't have to take accountability anymore, which is a lie. People still can be violated on their parole if they don't follow the rules. But right now, it's not going to be just for anything. And they actually have to prove what they violated you for. But one lady said people only have to plead guilty to one thing. She's made it sound like, oh, they get 20 charges, and we only make them cop out to one. Well, no, because if I had to fight those 20 things, it would be a lot harder. Fighting one thing is one thing, but fighting 20 things is a little bit more difficult. So we're not doing anybody any favors, just letting them plead guilty to one. So on top of that, they're saying that they provide these services of rehabilitation. They do not. They require you to go to practices that is covered by a person's insurance. That's how it's always been. They've never provided anything except security for the community. The lady said these people are sometimes social workers. I've never seen that before. They're officers of the law, not social workers. I don't even know where that lady got that either. But that's another part of disinformation out today. Another thing is they wanted to scare everybody by saying there's been a huge uptick of criminal behavior in New York State, murders in particular. But they failed to tell you that that's not parolees that are doing those things. And sure, there was an uptick in crime in New York State during COVID-19, but it wasn't the parole community. So that's another bit of disinformation and scare tactics that they used. And they just want you to believe that every single one of us on parole are bad human beings. And that if we relapse on our addiction, that putting us in jail is a beneficial thing. There's no rehabs in jail. It's prison. People don't find recovery in prison. It makes their problems a lot worse when they get out. Where do you think people's problems go when they go in jail? They follow them right to prison. Their issues with addiction and mental illness are with them the whole time. There's no counseling services or psychiatrists and people that sit down with you and let you go to groups and help you out in the places at all. So locking somebody up because they relapse, for what? Their problems coming right back out with them. You put them right back in the shitty situation that you just took them out of. But on the other hand, the $680 million a year the New York State will be saving can go for training programs for state workers and training for better rehabilitation and training for, parts of addiction where you call it, risk reduction systems. Just back in the later 80s and 90s, they brought the syringe programs, and it reduced the infection rate of HIV and AIDS. They realized that people were unfortunately succumbing to their disease of addiction and trading needles because they weren't available. So they provided a cleaner system with condoms and different things like that, and they reduced the rate of people spreading around infectious diseases. So Suboxone, that's another risk reduction system. It reduces somebody's cravings for opiates. And I've heard alcohol as well. So if you offer somebody the risk reduction programs, they're more likely to do that. And when they become more educated in it, they're more willing to keep going. Relapse is a part of recovery, and it's a sad part of it. That's why 100,000 people passed away from opiate related death, particularly fentanyl. So that's during last year, during COVID. But they offer things like Narcan. That's another risk reduction system. This stuff is bringing people back to life, and ultimately it's giving them another chance at sobriety. So that's what the communities need. They need risk reduction systems. And saving $680 million annually should help them be able to do it. So that rally was great. I loved going to that rally. It taught me a lot. I got to be a part of the community. I got to volunteer for a great organization, the Cattell Center, and I had a lot of fun. And we spread some good information around while we were there. And we showed them that we weren't going to accept that they were going to come out and lie to the community. We weren't going to let that happen. Not without some sort of argument, or protest. We showed that we were protesting that. And New York State got to see that there's people for this Less is More Act, and they want to keep it around. And the people protesting weren't people just on parole. Most of them weren't on parole at all. Family members in the community. Besides that, lots of law practices, like legal aid. The public defender's offices all across New York State wanted it. Lots of district attorneys agreed with it, judges. We had our Senate and Assembly. Most of them agreed with it, and they passed it. Kathy Hochul agreed with it and signed it into law. So how do they say it's not just a good idea, but it's the law? That's less is more. It's here to stay, man. They should just get used to it and start hiring some people to do studies and check on the statistics and give people good, sound information and be able to do be able to do something real better for our communities once they more informed. Thank you for coming to my channel. Like always, please let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, any questions. Have a nice day.